Minimal change. It's great to have two lads back on board, Josh, Gary.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's good cohesion this time of year, and so guys, that's what we talked about the last couple of weeks. Guys have been close, and you're trying to pick the best gang that are going to represent the overall group best on the day. So, listen, great challenge. Amazing to be here. Conditions are pretty wet out there. Obviously, we just did a bit of run around there. So, and yeah, listen, we'll see what it's like on Saturday on the day. But because again, like what we've talked about the last few weeks, isn't it, trying to manage some of the occasion and the conditions on the day, and obviously the opposition as well. So Bulls, very experienced team, tons of international experience there. Jake, obviously very experienced coach as well. So yeah, we know it's going to be a great challenge. But listen, I just find it amazing to be here for a final against the South African team such as the Bulls. You look back to I don't know if you've seen outside in the stadium there, they have the history of obviously the Pro 12, whatever it was, Magna League and all the rest prior to that. That first final, it says 2002, but I'm not sure, 2001-2 season, I think, is that right? So the final was actually in 2001, December. And yeah, to be here, getting ready for the Bulls is, listen, I'm sort of pinching myself, it's amazing now, yeah.
Just speaking about the Bulls, the scrums and kicking probably very important. You don't have Terry Furlong or Hugo Keenan who are close, and how confident are you that the guys who come in can match what the Bulls will offer?
Yeah, listen, the guys we've had there over the last couple of weeks, TC has been excellent. Obviously, Rab on the bench there as well in terms of tight heads. So they've been going unbelievably well. Jimmy is excellent as well now. So listen, we're comfortable with the guys that we have. And yeah, listen, there's a number of guys unlucky to miss out in the group, which is what you want over the course of a season, isn't it? There's been different conversations with guys over the last few weeks, and that's just the nature of the business, isn't it? So, but the group worked hard to get to this point. Like someone like a Cian Healy is an example. Like Jack Boyle and Andrew Bort are there instead of Cian. Cian, like you think what he's done and what he's achieved with the club, and like even when you look around on, as I said, those images of all the different finals, the contribution he's made to Leinster rugby. So that's probably been the most difficult one of all. So, but listen, as I said, we think we've got a strong group. We know the Bulls are a very strong group. Obviously we've finished 1 and 2 in the log over the course of the season. So probably the two most consistent teams. So yeah, listen, it's going to be a great challenge, isn't it?
Coach, do you want to spend anything for Ross Byrne, 10 years at the club? This is his final game coming off the bench. Anything you want to say?
Oh, listen, Ross has been unbelievable, and I've really enjoyed working with Ross over the last 10 years, yeah. And yeah, listen, he's been involved in some great days for Leinster, so he'll be a loss. So he's won in the 23. That whether that's the last time he plays for Leinster, but certainly next season he's moving on to a different challenge. So yeah. And yeah, listen, wait and see what the future holds. But the future is whatever this weekend, and I'm sure he will hopefully he will play a part in the game, and he's been a very key member of the group for a long time now. So yeah, hopefully he finishes his time at this period in a positive note. Yeah.
You alluded to Gary Rivers coming in. Do you want to talk about moving Jamie onto the bench? What impact do you expect from him, and potentially second half, potentially first half when he comes on?
Yeah, and Jamie again. We talked about this last week. Like he's a player that gives us a lot of versatility for starters. So, and I thought he was excellent. And he's somebody that's unlucky to miss out in being involved in the starting 15. So, but Gary obviously has a ton of experience. Jordy again, obviously someone who's a lot of experience at the highest level of the game as well. And whether Jamie, whether he comes in the midfield or whether he even at 15 as well. Listen, he's played Test match rugby for Ireland as a 15 as well. So, but yeah, listen, he's an unbelievably good young player, Jamie, and yeah, unlucky to miss out on the starting 15. But listen, hopefully he'll have a big impact on the game as well.
And then final one for me, Tommy O'Brien has been spectacular for the last couple of weeks, in particular crossbow kicks and everything. What attributes do you hope he brings to
well, it's just the physicality he brings to the team, isn't it? So he's all action, chases hard. You could see it right from the first restart last week. Ryan Baird, great chase from him. Tommy, winger straight on the ball, poach, and then it sets us up for the start of the game, doesn't it? So, yeah, that would be a nice start to the game this weekend. But yeah, listen, over the course of the season, he comes up with huge moments, doesn't he? You know, I think you see some of the cover tackles that he makes, and his aerial ability, his finishing ability, is, you know, how decisive he is in terms of, you know, some of the contact in particular of the game. So he's usually a physical winger for us. And yeah, listen, he's had to go through a period of, you know, injuries and, you know, dealing with setbacks and, you know, picking up things at the worst time for him personally. So, which leading into big games, and then suddenly he's back waiting in the queue again, you know, which is a competitive position for us. So, but listen, he's been outstanding this season, and it's great that he's got to a final now. And listen, hopefully it goes well for him into the weekend.
Any more questions in the room for the live section?
Hi Leo, how are you? Just listening to you there talking about Croke Park and how amazing it is to have the game here. Does that really add to the occasion for you? And also, you know, you have a good record here. It must be with confidence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like it's been like this season. You know, like let's talk about this season for starters. Like it's, you know, you're out of the RDS, and you know you're moving around what it's going to be like, and you know, the support we've had this year, like the numbers. Listen, Mark's will give the exact numbers now. I don't know off the top of my head, but listen, the numbers that we've had attending games has been phenomenal. And you know, Croke Park has been a part of that as well. So you know, we were here earlier on the year, played against Munster to have was pretty much a sold-out game. You know, we played here in the Champions Cup last 16 against Harlequins, and like that was the last weekend of the AAL that same weekend. And you know, we still had an unbelievable crowd here. You know, and you know, there's a 7-day lead into this game, and tickets are selling well, and it's, you know, we're going to have a great crowd here. So the first thing for us, you know, we're very appreciative of the support we've had all year, because the numbers are incredible, really, when you see them. So, you know, for us as a group, you know, the playing group and the support staff and everyone involved in the team, listen, we want to put on a performance now, because so much work has gone into getting us to this point. So that's what we can try and control, and listen, hopefully we have, as I said, the support behind us as well, and it'll be a great day. But listen, the Bulls will have their own plans. Listen, I've heard some of the stuff that they've been coming out this week themselves, and you know, they fancy themselves coming here, and you know, as I said, like, they have a ton of experience going through the team. You go literally on that team, was the way it's listed there, Villy Leroux at 15, you know, whatever, double World Cup winner, you know, he's an unbelievably experienced player, down to number 8, the way it reads out, Marcel Coetzee, whatever he is, 34, 35 years of age, and his experience playing in Ireland and playing with the Springboks and all the rest. So listen, we know we're up against huge challenge for us, hugely physical challenge, and yeah, it won't be easy, but listen, it's amazing to be here.
Very good. Okay. Rob, was any questions?
Was any questions there from our journalists in the Zoom call, please?
Zoom. Hand up there somewhere. Leighton.
Hi Leo. Hi guys. Thanks for the opportunity. Just on the Bulls, they've experienced 2 finals within South Africa. Came up short in both of them. Do you think them playing away from their home-based fans could potentially make them a different team, a more difficult team, not having that kind of pressure on them this weekend?
Possibly. I hope not, but possibly. Yeah, listen, I think they've travelled well during the course of the year. They've, yeah, listen, they've, you know, I know they obviously had a good couple of wins in Ireland earlier on the year. So, yes, and I think they'll be very confident going into the game. So, as I said, they've tons of international experience. I know Jake tries to play that down. But listen, you know, you think of some of the teams that have, or a lot of the players that have played for the Bulls over the years, their team we've obviously always greatly admired. We're little old Ireland, you know, and think in terms of South Africa and what you've achieved at the international game. So yeah, listen, we know it's going to be a huge challenge, so I wouldn't be reading into too much in terms of a couple of finals that they've lost.
Thank you.
Mr. Gordon.
Oh, thank you. Afternoon, Leo. Just one from me, Leo. Leinster has experienced quite a title drought now for a couple of years, and you came close in semi-finals in the URC, and now you're hosting a first final. Do you think that's also added pressure to you to make your fans happy to finally deliver a trophy after a few years of not having anything?
Well, the first thing is try to get to a final, so we managed to do that, so that's positive. And now it's just trying to prepare as well as we possibly can and produce a big performance on the day. So, we were touching on some of the brandings around the stadium here. So whatever URC you put together. So anyway, we've had some good days as well. So, but yeah, listen, there's enough experience in the group now. Guys have experienced winning and losing in finals. So. Yeah, no, it's a great challenge for us.